I'm Adam, and I'm so excited to have you all here with us today. Whether you're listening at home, on the go, or wherever you are in the world, we're grateful that you've chosen to spend your time learning with us. As always, we're here to help you improve your English while exploring interesting and important topics. Today, we have something really special lined up for you. We're going to talk about something that affects all of us, no matter where we are in life: self-care.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia. It's wonderful to be here with you again. Thank you, Adam, for the warm welcome. So, self-care, what does that mean? Well, it's all about taking care of ourselves. Sometimes life can get really busy. We have work, school, family, and so many responsibilities. But if we don't take time to care for ourselves, we can start to feel tired, stressed, or even sick. That's why self-care is so important. It helps us stay healthy, happy, and strong. And guess what? When we take care of ourselves, we can actually achieve more in life. We can be more successful in everything we do.
Exactly, Julia. Today's topic is one that everyone can relate to, no matter your age, your job, or where you're from. Self-care isn't just about relaxing or taking a day off. It's a key part of living a successful life. And don't worry if this sounds a bit complicated right now. We're going to break it down and explain everything in a way that's easy to understand, especially for our beginner English learners. So, if you're learning English and you want to hear more about how you can take care of yourself to be more successful, you're in the right place. Now let's talk about what you can expect from today's episode. First, we're going to start by explaining what self-care actually means. What does it look like in our daily lives? How can we practice it? Then we'll discuss why self-care is so important. We'll look at how taking care of yourself can help you feel better, work better, and live a more balanced life. After that, we'll dive into the different types of self-care: physical, mental, emotional, social, and even spiritual. We'll give you practical tips that you can start using today.
Yes, we've got a lot of great information to share with you. We'll also talk about how self-care can lead to success. You might be surprised to learn that some of the most successful people in the world make self-care a priority. They know that taking care of themselves helps them to be more focused, creative, and productive. And don't worry, we'll give you some simple steps you can take, even if you're just starting out. Finally, we'll answer some of your questions and share some personal stories about how self-care has made a difference in our own lives.
That's right, Julia. So, whether you're already practicing self-care or this is all new to you, we hope you'll find today's episode helpful and inspiring. By the end of this podcast, you'll have a better understanding of why self-care is so important and how it can help you achieve your goals. And remember, as you're listening, try to think about how you can apply these ideas to your own life. We want this to be practical and useful for you. So, let's get started, shall we?
Absolutely, Adam. We're excited to go on this journey with you, our listeners. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of self-care and success. We're sure you're going to learn something new today that can make a real difference in your life. Let's begin. Segment 1. What is self-care?
All right, let's jump right into our main topic for today: self-care. You might have heard this term before, maybe on social media, in books, or from friends. But what exactly does self-care mean? Well, to put it simply, self-care is anything you do to take care of your own health and well-being. It's about making time for yourself to do things that help you feel better, both physically and mentally. Self-care can be small actions, like taking a few minutes to relax after a busy day, or bigger things, like setting aside time each week to do something you enjoy. The key idea is that self-care is about you and making sure that you are okay.
Yes, Adam, that's a great way to explain it. Self-care is not just one thing. It's different for everyone, and it can look very different depending on your life, your needs, and what makes you feel good. For some people, self-care might mean going for a walk in the park to get some fresh air. For others, it might mean sitting down with a good book or listening to music. And for some, it could be taking a hot bath, cooking a healthy meal, or even just getting enough sleep at night. The important thing is that self-care is something you do on purpose, something you plan because you know it will help you feel better.
Exactly, Julia. And it's important to remember that self-care isn't just about relaxing or having fun. It's also about making choices that keep you healthy and happy in the long run. For example, exercising regularly, eating nutritious foods, and staying hydrated are all forms of self-care. So is managing stress in healthy ways, like practicing mindfulness or spending time with loved ones. It's about paying attention to what your body and mind need, and then taking steps to meet those needs. Now that we've talked a bit about what self-care is, let's discuss why it's so important. You might be wondering, why should I make time for self-care when I have so many other things to do? Well, the answer is simple. If you don't take care of yourself, it becomes much harder to take care of everything else. When you're feeling good, when your mind is clear, your body is healthy, and your emotions are in balance, you can handle stress better, make better decisions, and be more productive in whatever you're doing, whether that's at work, in school, or in your personal life.
That's right, Adam. Self-care is like the foundation of a strong house. If the foundation is weak, the house can't stand for long. But if the foundation is strong, the house can withstand storms and challenges. When you take care of yourself, you're building a strong foundation for your life. For example, if you make sure to get enough sleep each night, you'll wake up feeling refreshed and ready to face the day. You'll be able to focus better, think more clearly, and be more productive. On the other hand, if you're always tired, it's hard to concentrate, and everything feels more difficult.
Exactly, Julia. And it's not just about physical health. Self-care also helps with mental and emotional health. Taking time to relax and unwind can reduce stress and anxiety. When you're less stressed, you're more likely to be patient, kind, and creative. You'll also have more energy and motivation to pursue your goals and dreams. Self-care helps you stay balanced, so you don't get overwhelmed by the pressures of daily life. And when you're balanced, you can give your best effort in everything you do, which can lead to greater success in your career, your studies, and your personal relationships. Now let's talk about some common misconceptions, or myths, about self-care. A lot of people think that self-care is selfish or lazy. They might say, I don't have time for self-care, I have too much work to do. Or, taking time for myself is a waste of time. But that's not true at all. In fact, self-care is the opposite of selfish. It's something you do so that you can be at your best for others. If you're exhausted, stressed, or unhappy, you can't be the best parent, friend, partner, or colleague. But when you're well-rested and feeling good, you can give your full attention and energy to the people and tasks that matter most to you.
Absolutely, Adam. Another common myth is that self-care is only about pampering yourself. Things like going to a spa, getting a massage, or treating yourself to something special. While those things can be part of self-care, they're not the whole picture. Self-care is about more than just luxury or indulgence. It's about taking care of your basic needs, like getting enough sleep, eating healthy foods, exercising, and spending time with people who make you feel good. It's about doing what's necessary to keep yourself healthy and happy, even if it's not glamorous or exciting.
That's a great point, Julia. Self-care doesn't have to be expensive or time-consuming. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths when you're feeling stressed, saying no to something that you don't have the energy for, or spending a few minutes each day doing something you love. And it's important to remember that self-care isn't just something you do once in a while. It's something you need to practice regularly. Just like you wouldn't skip meals or sleep for days on end, you shouldn't skip self-care. It's an ongoing process of taking care of yourself so that you can be at your best every day.
Exactly, Adam. And one final myth I want to address is the idea that self-care is a luxury that only some people can afford. But self-care is for everyone, no matter who you are or what your life looks like. You don't need a lot of money, time, or special tools to practice self-care. All you need is a little bit of awareness and a commitment to taking care of yourself. It's about making self-care a priority, even when life gets busy. Because when you take care of yourself, everything else becomes easier.
That's so true, Julia. Self-care is something we all need and deserve. And the best part is that it's completely within our control. We can all choose to make self-care a part of our lives, starting right now. And when we do, we'll be better equipped to achieve our goals, handle challenges, and live a more fulfilling life. So, if you've ever felt guilty or hesitant about taking time for yourself, I hope this conversation helps you see that self-care is not only okay, it's essential.
Segment 2, Types of Self-Care.
Let's start by talking about physical self-care. This is probably what most people think of when they hear the word self-care. It's all about taking care of your body and making sure you're physically healthy. One of the best ways to do this is through regular exercise. You don't have to be a professional athlete to benefit from physical activity. Even simple exercises like walking, stretching, or doing yoga can make a big difference in how you feel. Physical self-care also includes things like eating healthy foods, staying hydrated, and getting enough sleep. When you take care of your body, you have more energy, you feel better, and you're more able to handle the stresses of everyday life.
Exactly, Adam. For those who are new to self-care or just getting started, it's important to remember that you don't have to make big changes all at once. Start with small steps. For example, you can begin by adding a short walk to your daily routine, just 15 or 20 minutes. Over time, you might find that you want to add more, like some light stretching in the morning or trying out a new sport or activity. The key is consistency. It's better to do a little bit every day than to try to do too much at once and burn out. And don't forget about nutrition. Eating a balanced diet with plenty of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains can have a huge impact on your physical health. Start by making small changes, like swapping out sugary snacks for healthier options or drinking more water throughout the day.
That's great advice, Julia. And for our listeners who are worried that they don't have time for exercise or cooking healthy meals, remember that self-care doesn't have to take up a lot of time. You can fit it into your day in ways that work for you. For example, you can do some stretching while watching TV, take the stairs instead of the elevator, or prepare simple, healthy meals that don't take long to cook. The important thing is to make physical self-care a priority. When your body is healthy and strong, you'll find that you have more energy and motivation to pursue your goals. Now, let's move on to another important type of self-care: mental and emotional self-care. Just as it's important to take care of your body, it's equally important to take care of your mind and emotions. Mental and emotional self-care is all about managing stress, maintaining a positive mindset, and taking steps to protect your mental health. One of the most effective ways to do this is through mindfulness practices. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment, paying attention to your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It can help reduce stress, improve focus, and increase emotional well-being.
Yes, Adam, mindfulness is a powerful tool for mental and emotional self-care. And the best part is, you don't need any special equipment or a lot of time to practice it. You can start with just a few minutes a day. One simple way to practice mindfulness is through deep breathing exercises. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and take a few deep breaths. Focus on the sensation of your breath as it enters and leaves your body. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to your breath. This simple practice can help calm your mind and reduce feelings of stress or anxiety.
Another great practice for mental and emotional self-care is journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can be a great way to process emotions and gain perspective on what's going on in your life. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just take a few minutes each day to write about whatever is on your mind. You might find that it helps you feel more grounded and less overwhelmed by your thoughts. Journaling can also be a way to track your progress, set goals, and reflect on the things you're grateful for. It's a simple but powerful way to take care of your mental and emotional well-being.
And don't forget about the importance of taking breaks. We live in a busy world, and it's easy to get caught up in work, responsibilities, and the demands of daily life. But taking time to rest and recharge is crucial for your mental and emotional health. This could be as simple as taking a few minutes to step away from your desk, going for a walk, or spending some time in nature. Giving yourself permission to take breaks is a form of self-care that can help prevent burnout and keep your mind and emotions in balance.
Next, let's talk about social self-care. Humans are social beings, and our relationships with others play a big role in our overall well-being. Social self-care is all about nurturing those relationships and making time to connect with the people who are important to you. This could mean spending time with family and friends, joining a group or community, or simply making an effort to stay in touch with loved ones. Social connections can provide support, reduce stress, and add joy to your life.
That's so true, Adam. Social self-care doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as calling a friend to chat, having lunch with a colleague, or spending time with your family. It's about making sure that you're not isolated and that you have people in your life who care about you and support you. For beginners, a good tip is to start by reaching out to one person you haven't spoken to in a while. Send them a message or give them a call, and just catch up. You might be surprised at how much a simple conversation can lift your spirits and help you feel more connected.
Another important aspect of social self-care is setting boundaries. It's important to have relationships that are positive and supportive, but it's also important to protect your own well-being. This means learning to say no when you need to and not overcommitting yourself. It's okay to set limits and take time for yourself when you need it. Healthy relationships are based on mutual respect and understanding, and sometimes that means taking a step back to focus on your own needs.
And for those who find it challenging to maintain social relationships, remember that it's okay to start small. You don't have to have a large circle of friends to benefit from social connections. Even just 1 or 2 close relationships can make a big difference in your life. The key is to nurture those relationships by being present, listening, and showing that you care. Social self-care is about quality, not quantity.
Finally, let's talk about spiritual self-care. This type of self-care is about connecting with your inner self and finding meaning in your life. For some people, spiritual self-care might involve religious practices like prayer or attending services. For others, it might involve meditation, spending time in nature, or engaging in personal reflection. Spiritual self-care is about whatever helps you feel connected to something larger than yourself, whether that's a higher power, the natural world, or your own inner wisdom.
That's a great way to put it, Adam. Spiritual self-care doesn't have to be about religion. It's about what brings you a sense of peace, purpose, and connection. For beginners, one simple practice is to spend a few minutes each day in quiet reflection. This could be through meditation, sitting quietly in nature, or even just taking a moment to breathe deeply and center yourself. The goal is to create a space where you can connect with your inner self and reflect on what's important to you.
Another way to practice spiritual self-care is through gratitude. Taking time to appreciate the positive things in your life can help you feel more connected and content. You might try keeping a gratitude journal where you write down a few things you're grateful for each day. This simple practice can shift your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life, and it can help you cultivate a more positive mindset.
And for those who are looking to deepen their spiritual practice, consider exploring different forms of meditation, mindfulness, or even creative activities like painting or writing. These can all be ways to connect with your inner self and find a sense of peace and fulfillment. Spiritual self-care is deeply personal, so it's important to find what works for you and make it a regular part of your life.
That's right, Julia. Spiritual self-care is about nourishing your soul and finding practices that help you feel grounded, peaceful, and connected. Whether it's through meditation, gratitude, or simply spending time in nature, the important thing is to make space for these practices in your life. When you do, you'll find that you're more resilient, more at peace, and better able to navigate the ups and downs of life.
Segment 3. How self-care contributes to success.
Now that we've talked about the different types of self-care, let's dive into how self-care directly contributes to success. One of the most immediate benefits of self-care is improved focus and productivity. When you take time to care for your physical, mental, and emotional well-being, you're setting yourself up for better concentration and performance in whatever you do. Think about it. When you're well-rested, your mind is clearer, and you can focus on your tasks without getting easily distracted. When you're eating well and exercising regularly, you have more energy to get through the day. This directly translates into being more productive, whether at work, school, or in your personal projects.
That's absolutely right, Adam. And we can see this in the lives of many successful people. For example, let's take a look at some of the most accomplished individuals in the world. Many of them have strict routines that include self-care practices like exercise, meditation, or simply taking time to disconnect from work. These routines aren't just about staying healthy. They're about optimizing their performance. When you're in a good state of mind and body, you can tackle challenges more effectively, think more clearly, and make better use of your time. Take, for instance, Arianna Huffington, the founder of the Huffington Post. She's been very vocal about how prioritizing sleep and self-care has been crucial to her success. After collapsing from exhaustion, she made a complete shift in her lifestyle to focus on well-being, and that change has allowed her to continue thriving in her career.
Exactly, Julia. And it's not just about being more productive in the short term. When you consistently practice self-care, you're also preventing burnout, which is a major barrier to long-term success. By taking care of yourself, you're able to sustain your focus and productivity over time, rather than pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion. It's about working smarter, not harder. When you're balanced and healthy, you can accomplish more in less time, and you're more likely to maintain that level of productivity throughout your life. Another critical way that self-care contributes to success is by improving your decision-making abilities. When you're well-rested, mentally sharp, and emotionally balanced, you're in a much better position to make sound decisions. Self-care helps to clear your mind, reduce stress, and give you the mental space you need to think things through. This clarity is essential for making good choices, whether it's in your personal life or your career.
That's such an important point, Adam. I'd like to share a personal story here. A few years ago, I was working on a big project at work. It was a high-pressure situation, and I was really pushing myself hard. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was skipping meals, not getting enough sleep, and just trying to power through. As a result, I found that I was making a lot of mistakes. My thinking was cloudy, and I was constantly second-guessing myself. Finally, I realized that I needed to take a step back and focus on my well-being. I started making time for exercise, eating better, and most importantly, getting enough rest. It didn't take long before I noticed a big difference. I was able to think more clearly, make decisions with confidence, and ultimately, I was much more successful in completing the project. This experience taught me that self-care isn't just a nice-to-have. It's essential for making good decisions and achieving success.
Thanks for sharing that, Julia. Your story really highlights how easy it is to overlook the importance of self-care when we're caught up in the demands of life. But as you experienced, neglecting self-care can lead to poor decision-making and mistakes that could have been avoided. When we're stressed, tired, or overwhelmed, it's hard to see things clearly. We might rush into decisions without fully considering the consequences, or we might miss important details because we're not fully present. On the other hand, when we're taking care of ourselves, we're more patient, more thoughtful, and more likely to make decisions that lead to success. Finally, one of the most important contributions of self-care to success is its role in helping us maintain balance in our lives. We all have multiple responsibilities: work, family, friends, personal goals, and it's easy to get overwhelmed by trying to do it all. Without balance, it's impossible to sustain success in the long term. Self-care is the tool that helps us keep everything in perspective and ensure that we're not neglecting any important aspect of our lives.
That's so true, Adam. Balance is key to achieving and maintaining success. When we neglect self-care, we often end up focusing too much on one area of our life, like work, and everything else starts to suffer. This can lead to burnout, strained relationships, and even physical health problems. But when we prioritize self-care, we're better able to manage our time and energy. We can give attention to our work without neglecting our personal life, and vice versa. It's about making sure that we're not just successful in one area, but that we're living a fulfilling and well-rounded life.
Exactly, Julia. And achieving this balance doesn't mean that everything has to be perfect all the time. It's about being aware of our needs and making adjustments when necessary. For instance, if work is particularly demanding at a certain time, you might need to focus more on your professional life. But that doesn't mean you should completely ignore your personal life. Self-care might mean taking short breaks during a busy workday, making time for a quick walk, or ensuring you spend quality time with your loved ones during the weekend. These small actions can make a big difference in maintaining balance and preventing burnout.
And let's not forget that maintaining balance also includes knowing when to ask for help. Sometimes we try to do everything ourselves, which can lead to unnecessary stress and imbalance. Part of self-care is recognizing when we need support, whether that's delegating tasks at work, seeking advice from a mentor, or simply talking to a friend about what's going on. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a crucial part of maintaining balance and ensuring long-term success.
Absolutely, Julia. In the end, self-care is about creating a life where you can be successful without sacrificing your well-being. It's about making sure that you're not just surviving, but thriving in all areas of your life. When you take care of yourself, you're not only more productive and make better decisions, but you also create a foundation for sustained success. It's about enjoying the journey, not just the destination.
Segment 4. Practical tips for practicing self-care.
Now that we've explored how self-care contributes to success, let's get into some practical tips on how to incorporate self-care into your daily life. One of the most important things to remember is that you don't have to make big changes all at once. In fact, it's often more effective to start small. When people hear the term self-care, they might think it requires a lot of time or a complete lifestyle overhaul, but that's not the case. Even small, simple actions can have a significant impact on your well-being. For instance, setting aside just 5 minutes in the morning to stretch, breathe deeply, or enjoy a cup of tea in peace can set a positive tone for the rest of your day.
You've been looking tired lately. Are you getting enough rest?
Not really. I've been staying up late to study. There's just so much to do, and I feel like I have to keep pushing myself.
I understand, but have you considered how exhaustion affects your performance?
I know I feel tired, but I don't have a choice. If I don't study hard, I won't succeed.
Success isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. If your body and mind are drained, you won't retain information effectively.
But if I take breaks, I'll fall behind. Others are studying non-stop.
Comparing yourself to others only adds stress. Do you think they're all performing at their best without rest?
Maybe not, but they seem to manage. I just don't want to risk failing.
Rest isn't a risk, it's a necessity. Have you ever noticed how much harder it is to focus when you're exhausted?
Yeah, sometimes I read the same sentence over and over, and it doesn't make sense.
That's your brain telling you it needs a break. Imagine trying to run a marathon without stopping for water. How far do you think you'd get?
Probably not very far, but studying isn't the same as running.
In a way, it is. Your brain is like a muscle. Overworking it without recovery leads to burnout.
So you're saying I should rest more, but what if I still don't have enough time?
Managing time wisely is part of self-care. When do you usually take breaks?
I don't. I just study until I feel like I can't anymore.
That's the problem. Breaks should be intentional, not just when exhaustion forces you to stop.
But what if I start relaxing too much and lose motivation?
The key is balance. Self-care doesn't mean laziness. It means recharging so you can be more productive.
I never really thought about it that way, but how do I know if I'm balancing it right?
Listen to your body and mind. If you feel constantly drained, it's a sign you need better self-care habits.
I guess I do feel drained all the time, so what should I do differently?
Let's start with small changes. When was the last time you had a full night's sleep?
I don't even remember. Maybe a few weeks ago.
Sleep is one of the most important forms of self-care. If you're not well rested, everything else becomes harder.
So, if I start sleeping more, I'll do better in my studies?
Absolutely, but sleep is just one part of it. There's also food, exercise, and mental breaks.
I usually just grab snacks while I study. That counts, right?
Not exactly. Your brain needs proper nutrition to function at its best.
So junk food is making things worse.
It might be a well-fed brain learns and remembers better.
So I should sleep more and eat better. What else?
Exercise, even a short walk, can improve focus and energy levels.
But exercise takes time, and I already feel like I don't have enough.
A 10-minute break for movement can make you more productive. It's not about taking time away, it's about using time wisely.
That makes sense, but I'm still not sure if I can change my routine.
Change doesn't have to be drastic. Small improvements lead to big results.
Okay, I'll try, but what if I still don't feel like I'm succeeding?
Success isn't just about grades, it's about sustainability. If you burn out, no amount of studying will help.
I guess that's true, so where should I start?
Start by setting a bedtime and sticking to it. Everything else will build from there.
That sounds simple enough, but will it really make a difference?
Try it for a week and see how you feel. You might be surprised.
All right, I'll give it a shot. What's next after sleep?
That's what we'll talk about next. But first, let's make sure you're actually getting rest.